Welcome viewers on today's session on nutrition labeling and food laws under the core course Food and Nutrition. Nutrition labeling means sale of a product by providing comprehensive information about the product to the consumer besides ensuring the safety standards. A useful elaborated information about the label serves a primary link of communication between the manufacturer and consumer. The consumer can be influenced on their choice of product according to his or her needs. Thus, the correct and required labeling undoubtedly promotes the sale of product. As per food laws, every packaged food article has to be labeled in accordance to the law applicable in the country of the user. Every packaged food article for the domestic use has to be labeled in accordance to the related Indian food law, that is food safety and standards under the law of packaging and labeling regulations 2011 notified by Food Safety and Standards Authority of India FSSAI. In this episode, we will be understanding about nutrition labeling and Food Safety and Standards Authority of India FSSAI under the following subsections: Nutrition Labeling in India, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Definition of food label: a panel found on a package of food which contains a variety of information about the nutritional value of the food item. There are many pieces of information which are standard on most food labels, including serving size, number of calories, grams of fat, included nutrients, and a list of ingredients. The first law on nutrition labeling in 1990, Nutrition Labeling and Education Act NLEA was passed. It required all packaged foods to bear nutrition labeling and all health claims for foods to be consistent with terms defined by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. First label. As per 1991, Nutrition Facts Basic per serving nutrition information was made must on foods under the Nutrition Labeling and Education Act of 1990. Food labels had to list the most important nutrients in an easy to follow format. Let's learn about the requirements or the prerequisites of food label. Usually, all 15 nutrients are shown: calories, calories from fats, fats that is saturated fat, trans fats, cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, dietary fiber, sugar, protein, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium and iron. The manufacturer or the packer has to ensure that the label complies with the general regulations, that is, the label should not become separated from the container. Contents on the label shall be correct, clear and readily legible and shall be in English or Hindi language, etc. In order to safeguard the interest of consumer, the Food Safety and Standards Packaging and Labeling Regulations 2011 provides that every packaged food article should be labeled. The essential component of every label are as follows: the name of food, number 2, list of ingredients, number 3, nutritional information, number 4, declaration regarding vegetarian or non-vegetarian, number 5, declaration regarding food additives, number 6, name and complete address of the manufacturer or packer, number 7, net quantity, number 8, code number or lot number or batch number, number 9, date of manufacture or packing, number 10, best before and use by dates, number 11, country of origin for imported food, and number 12, instructions for use. Let's learn about offences and penalties under the nutrition labeling. If on analysis the sample is found non-complying to the standards, then the food product is declared as substandard. Besides, misbranding and prosecution is launched for substandard and also for misbranding, that is labeling defect. Even if the sample is found conforming to the standards, the prosecution is launched for misbranding. Misbranded food may invite fines up to 3 lakh rupees. Misleading advertisement can be fined up to 10 lakh rupees. During food inspection, in case of any labeling or quality defect, invariably the product sample is taken and sent for analysis. In view of above, the food business operator FOB should understand the importance of correct labeling, and if the label declaration is incorrect and not in accordance to the regulation, then the FBOs have to face the implications of the FSS Acts. Establishment of the authority. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India is the administrative ministry for the implementation of FSSAI. The Chairperson and Chief Executive Officer of Food Safety and Standards Authority of India FSSAI is in the rank of Secretary to Government of India. FSSAI has been created for laying down science-based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale and import to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. Let's learn about the importance of the Food Safety and Standard Act 2006. Various central acts like Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954, Food Product Order 1955, Meat Food Products Order 1973, Vegetable Oil Products Control Order 1947, Edible Oils Packaging Regulations Order 1988, Solvent Extracted Oil, De-oiled Meal and Edible Flour Control Order 1967, Milk and Milk Products Order 1992, etc. has been repealed after the commencement of FSS Act 2006. The Act also aims to establish a single reference point for all matters relating to food safety and standards by moving from multi-level, multi-departmental control to a single line of command. To this effect, the Act establishes an independent statutory authority, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, as its head office at Delhi. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India and the State Food Safety Authority shall enforce various provisions of the Act. Let's learn about the functions of FSSAI. FSSAI has been mandated by the FSS Act 2006 for performing the following functions: framing of regulations to lay down the standards and guidelines in relation to articles of food and specifying appropriate system of enforcing various standards thus notified, laying down mechanisms and guidelines for accreditations of certifications bodies engaged in certification of food safety management system for food businesses, laying down procedure and guidelines for accreditation of laboratories and notification of the accredited laboratories, to provide scientific advice and technical support to central government and state governments in the matters of framing the policy and the rules in areas which have a direct or indirect bearing of food safety and nutrition. Collect and collate the data regarding food consumption, incidence and prevalence of biological risk, contaminants in food, residues of the various and contaminants in food products, identification of emerging risks and introduction of rapid alert system. Creating an information network across the country so that the public, consumers, panchayats, etc. receive rapid, reliable and objective information about food safety and issues of concern. To provide training programs for persons who are involved or intend to get involved in food businesses. To contribute to the development of international technical standards for food, sanitary and phytosanitary standards, to promote general awareness about food safety and food standards. Let's learn few basic definitions and terms under FSSAI. Food is defined as any substance, whether processed, partially processed or unprocessed, which is intended for human consumption and includes primary food to the extent defined, genetically modified or containing such ingredients, infant food, packaged drinking water, alcoholic drink, chewing gum and any substances including water used into the food during its manufacture, preparation, treatment. But it does not include any animal feed, live animals unless they are prepared or processed for placing on the market for human consumption, plants prior to harvesting, drugs and medicinal products, cosmetics, narcotic or psychotropic substances. Primary food is defined as an article of food being a produce of agriculture or horticulture or animal husbandry and dairying or aquaculture in the natural form resulting from the growing, raising, cultivation, picking, harvesting, collection or catching in the hands of a person other than a farmer or fisherman. Food safety means assurance that it is acceptable for human consumption according to its intended use. Food standard. Standard in relation to any article of food means the standards notified by the food authority. Food safety system will protect nation's food supply even if contamination is intentional or unintentional, thus refers to all those hazards whether chronic or acute which makes food injurious to health. Audit. A systematic examination to determine whether what is actually happening complies with documented procedure. Critical control point. A step at which control is essential to prevent or eliminate a food safety hazard or reduce it to an acceptable level. Farm to table includes all steps involved in the production, storage, handling, distribution and preparation of a food product. Food hygiene, all conditions and measures necessary to ensure the safety and suitability of food at all stages of the food chain. Food additive means any substance not normally consumed as a food by itself or used as a typical ingredient of the food, whether or not it has nutritive value, the intentional addition of which to food for a technological purpose in the manufacture, processing, preparation, treatment, packaging, transport or holding of such food results reasonably expected to a result in it or its by products becoming a component of or otherwise affecting the characteristics of such food, but does not include contaminants or substances added to food for maintaining or improving nutrition qualities. Food authority means the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India established under Section 4 of Food Act. Food business means any undertaking whether for profit or not and whether public or private carrying out any of the activities related to any stage of manufacture, processing, packing, storage, transportation, distribution of food, import and includes food services, catering services, sale of food or food ingredients. Food laboratory means any food laboratory or institute established by central or state government or any other agency and accredited by National Accreditation Board for testing and calibration laboratories or an equivalent accreditation agency and recognized by the Food Authority under Section 43. Food safety means assurance that food is acceptable for human consumption according to its intended use. Food safety audit means a systematic and functionality independent examination of food safety measures adopted by manufacturing units to determine whether such measures and related results meet with objectives of food safety and the claims made in that behalf. Food safety measurement system means the adoption of good manufacturing practices, good hygiene practices, hazard analysis and critical control point and such other practices as may be specified by regulation for the food business. Food safety officer means an officer appointed under Section 37 of FSSAI. Hazard means a biological, chemical or physical agent in or condition of food with the potential to cause an adverse health effect. Ingredient means any substance, including a food additive, used in the manufacture or preparation of food and present in the final product, possibly in a modified form. Label. As we have learnt earlier also, scientifically it means any tag, brand, mark, pictorial or other descriptive matter written, printed, stenciled, marked, embossed, graphic or perforated, stamped or impressed on and attached to container, cover, lid or crown of any food package and includes a product insert. License means a license granted under section 31. Local area means any area, whether urban or rural, notified by the Commissioner of Food Safety to be a local area for the purpose of this Act. Manufacture means a process of adoption or any treatment for conversion of ingredients into an article of food, which includes any sub-processes incidental or ancillary to the manufacture of an article of food. Prohibition order means an order issued under section 33 of this Act. Sample means a sample of any article of food taken under the provisions of any article of food of this Act or any rules and regulations made there under. Substance includes any natural or artificial substance or other matter, whether it is solid state or in liquid form or in the form of gas or the vapor. Unsafe food means an article of food whose nature, substance or quality is so affected as to render it injurious to health. This could be due to defective packaging or decomposed or diseased animal or vegetable substance or due to unhygienic processing or by non-approved ingredients or color or infestation by pesticide or spoilage due to contamination. Let's learn about advantages of FSSAI compared to existing laws. Single reference point for all matters relating to FSS, regulation and enforcement, transparency and accountable regulatory framework, investor friendly regulatory mechanism, empowerment of consumers with the dissemination of adequate information, spread of food safety concept to grassroots level by involving local panchayat and municipalities. Duties and functions of food authority. It shall be the duty of the food authority to regulate and monitor the manufacture, processing, distribution, sale and import of food so as to ensure safe and wholesome food. Without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 1, the food authority may by regulations specify: number 1, the standards and guidelines in relation to articles of food and specifying an appropriate system for enforcing various standards notified under this Act. Number 2, the limits for use of food additives, crop contaminants, pesticide, residues of veterinary drugs, heavy metals, processing aids, mycotoxin, antibiotics and pharmacological active substances and irradiation of food. Number 3, the mechanism and guidelines for accreditation of certifications, bodies engaged in certification of body safety management system for food business. Number 4, the procedure and the enforcement of quality control in relation to any article of food imported into India. Number 5, the procedure and guidelines for accreditation of laboratories and notification of the accredited laboratories. Number 6, the method of sampling, analysis and exchange of information among enforcement authorities. Number 7, conduct survey of enforcement and administration of this Act in the country. Number 8, food labeling standards including claims on health, nutrition, special dietary uses and food category systems for foods and the manner in which the procedures subject to which risk analysis, risk assessment, risk communication and risk management shall be undertaken. Number 3, the food authority shall also provide scientific advice and technical support to the central government and the state government in matters of framing the policy and rules in areas which have a direct or indirect bearing on food safety and nutrition. Number 2, search, collate, analyze and summarize relevant scientific and technical data, particularly relating to food consumption and exposure of individuals to risk related to the consumption of food. Number 2, incidence and prevalence of biological risk. Number 3, contaminants in food. Number 4, residues of various contaminants. Number 5, identification of emerging risks and introduction of rapid alert system. It also promotes, coordinate and issue guidelines for the development of risk assessment, methodologies and monitor and conduct and forward messages on the health and nutritional risk of food to the central government, state government and Commissioner of Food Safety. It provides scientific and technical advice and assistance to the central government and state government in implementation of crisis management procedure with regard to food safety and to draw up a general plan for crisis management and work in close cooperation with the crisis unit set up by the central government in this regard. To establish a system of network of organizations with the aim to facilitate a scientific cooperation framework by the coordination of activities, the exchange of information, the development and implementation of joint projects, the exchange of expertise and best practices in the fields within the food authority's responsibility. To provide scientific and technical assistance to the central government and state government for improving cooperation with international organizations. To take all such steps to ensure that the public, consumers, interested parties and all levels of panchayats receive rapid, reliable, objective and comprehensive information through appropriate methods and means. To provide, whether within or outside their area, training programs in food safety and standards for persons who are or intend to become involved in the food businesses, operators or employees. Let's learn about the framework of food safety regulators. Chief Executive Officer FSSAI has under its regulations State Government Commissioner of Food Safety 34 states as well as the UTs along with the Central Licensing Authority. Under the State Government Commissioner of Food Safety comes the Registration Authority and the Licensing Authority, and under the Licensing Authority we have designated officers, and under the designated officer food safety officers comes who regulates and inspects and monitors the food business operators. Under the Registration Authority, the city municipal corporation, town panchayats and gram panchayat works. Under the direction of Central Licensing Authority, FSSAI headquarters licensing comes, and which takes care of the zonal directors, other officers for inspection and monitoring at the central level. To conclude on this session, as per food laws, every packaged food article has to be labelled in accordance to the law applicable in the country of the user. Every food article for the domestic use has to be labelled in accordance to the related Indian food laws, that is Food Safety and Standards, Packaging and Labelling Regulations 2011, notified by Food Safety and Standards Authority of India FSSAI. Nutritional labeling and consumer awareness has significant impact on the choice of food and overall health indices of our nation. FSSAI has been created for laying down science-based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale and import to ensure the availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption from farm to table. FSSAI has been planned and implemented to ensure food safety and quality to reach grassroots levels irrespective of economic constraints of every consumer in India. Thank you, viewers.